My golden child sister has been weaponizing my grief and building a case to have me institutionalized. She doesn't know my fiancé left proof that will send her to prison. My fiancé Elias died chasing overtime to pay for our honeymoon. I was supposed to wear white, but I wore black instead. The construction site that swallowed him whole spat out a check. Blood money they called life insurance. That's when Chloe came in, my sister, swooping in like a vulture dressed as a dove. "I've got you," she whispered, canceling florists with one hand while sorting funeral programs with the other. 18 months passed in a morphine drip of days. Then Roy appeared. "Met him downtown," Chloe announced, dragging home this unemployed contractor with a smile that never reached his eyes. 3 weeks later, he'd colonized our grandmother's house like black mold, spreading room by room, invisible until the damage was done. Chloe and I had inherited only a year before Elias's death, and ever since Elias and I had lived alone, now Chloe and Roy seemed to be permanent. "We need to talk finances," Chloe said one morning, sliding papers across the breakfast table. "Since we both inherited, you should contribute, just utilities at first." I was drowning. She threw me an anchor and called it a life reserver. $1,500 a month. That's what co-owners apparently pay each other through the shell company my sister created overnight. Only I didn't know that. So I signed where she pointed, worked double shifts to afford living in my own home, and pretended not to notice when Elias's tools vanished into Roy's truck. They took the master bedroom, our bedroom, where Elias and I had painted the walls sunrise yellow for new beginnings. "Roy has a bad back," Chloe explained, moving my things to the guest room. "You understand?" I didn't understand anything anymore. The house transformed. I became the ghost haunting my own life while they played happy family. "Our roommate," Chloe would say at parties, gesturing to me like furniture. I'd stand there, hollowed out, paying for the roof over their heads and the food in their mouths while they contributed nothing but gaslighting and theft. "Grandma's jewelry disappeared. Must have been stolen," Chloe said, tears perfectly timed. "We should change the locks." My childhood friend Maya tried to save me, saw the weight falling off my bones, the bruises under my eyes, but Chloe had weaponized my grief. "Hallie insists on paying more rent. It's survivor's guilt. Hallie gave us the bedroom. She can't sleep there anymore. Hallie's hostile to anyone trying to help." They documented everything. Photos of my depression, recordings of my breakdown on Elias's death anniversary, papers signed through exhausted tears. They were building a case, creating evidence, crafting my destruction. Then the bank called and said that Elias's safety deposit box needed renewal. I had no idea Elias had a safety deposit box. When I told Chloe, her face went corpse white at dinner. "You're obsessing," she hissed. "It's unhealthy." When I insisted on going anyway, she slapped an eviction notice on the table. 30 days. The papers I'd signed blindly were a lease. I was a tenant in my own home. Roy cracked his knuckles. "I'll call the cops myself if you don't go quietly." I fled to a motel that night. That's when I had the first clear thought in months. Elias had said something. Right before he died, he said, "I'm securing our future, Em." Despite their threats, I decided to go to the bank. The problem was that I needed Elias's keys, which were in my home. When I returned, the locks were changed. A restraining order decorated the door like a twisted welcome mat. I'd apparently threatened violence. News to me. But Chloe had the proof. Videos, texts taken out of context. Even Maya looked at me sideways now. I got a lawyer whose only advice was, eviction takes months. Keep paying rent or you'll risk breaching the lease. Meanwhile, Chloe had listed the house for sale. As sole owner, the safety deposit box took 2 lawyers to open. I had to provide proof that Elias had passed and had signed me as his beneficiary and heir. But everything was worth it when I saw Elias's final gift for me. The deed to my grandmother's house and a letter. He'd bought Chloe's half 6 months before he died. "Your sister's drowning in debt," his letter explained. "I'm protecting you. She doesn't own anything anymore. The check's been cashed. It's done." She knew. God, she knew. Every month she'd collected rent on a house she didn't own. Every lie about helping me was calculated. Every tear perfectly placed. She'd been robbing me blind while I grieved myself hollow. My phone rang. Chloe's voice had shed its mask, threatening to have me committed. She listed the evidence they'd manufactured. Roy's connections at the state hospital. How they'd lock me away until I forgot Elias. Forgot the house. Forgot everything. "We've done our homework, Hallie. Who's going to believe the crazy grieving girl over her caring sister?" I hung up, looked at the deed that could destroy them. My hands didn't shake anymore. Grief had burned away everything soft, leaving only sharp edges and the ghost of Elias's protection. They'd stolen everything else. They wouldn't steal this. The war for my life had just begun. It took a turn I never expected. I had to finish the story somewhere else. Link below.